Hey there, Silver Tongue Devil here, and in this live stream, we are in the world of Metamorphosis in VR. Now, this is a port from a PC game of about 4 years past. The premise is we are a man and we get turned into a bug for reasons. Now, I've put some hours into this one. I have an early access build. This early access build has been provided by the good people at Black Sun and their promotional team. We're going to be having a look at what is in essence an early access version of it. There is an update that is hopefully going to be dropping before this one is available, which I believe is tomorrow. Unfortunately, that update only has a couple of audio fixes and some comfort options. I think it's going to need a little bit more, but I'll explain as we go along. Now, I've played the game a reasonable amount and put in quite a lot of progress from what I can tell very, very fast. But we'll start a new game anyway and take it from the top. And I'll try and be quiet when the story bits are on. This is going to be quite story-based, quite heavy on the old dialogue. Thankfully, it doesn't do much in the ways of cutscenes.
Huh?
Huh? What?
Where am I? What's this painting? Right, I'm at Joseph's. What a night. Quite a celebration. Happy birthday, my friend. Oh, one drink too many. I'll check with Joseph and then I'm off to work.
Done? Yes, we're done. Right. So you'll see there that as I moved away, the audio started disappearing. So I think you're supposed to stand in center. I wasn't standing on my X, obviously. Right. Let me get you guys back on and then we'll go from there. And hey, Kim, how we doing? Right. So we wake up in the apartment. Now, the first little, I suppose, like, warning signs for this one for me were things like, okay, can I pick things up? Okay, no you can't. Can I interact with things? Some things you can, but it's as opposed to a pull and grab. That's okay, as long as I can pick up things. And then it was things like that worried me, where it's that pinch motion but grabs anywhere. It doesn't actually grab the thing. Now, again, I'm being hypercritical here, but I do fear that this is one of those games where it's a flat screen version that has just been kind of chucked onto VR. This was the one that got me. Forget all of that. I need the key to get out the door. Okay, well, I guess I'll maneuver it then. And it's, I don't know, these little things, they always concern me a little. Dear Mr. Gregor, the key is in one of the drawers. Is it?
Here it is.
I mean, lies, but okay. Take this with us as well. And then, I mean, I can't see a lock on that door to put the key in. But there's no other doors in here, is there? Is there? No. Okay. I also feel like the sense of scale might be a little bit warped unless I'm supposed to be 4 foot. But yeah, that just seems to be the default and there's no height adjustment. I'm pretty sure I'm like at least a man of 30. But anyway, so let's put the key in the lock. I guess we don't need that anymore. And let's begin. But maybe it's part of the beginning experience. Although when I was first watching this, all of this is very cool and very creepy. That's
I must have slept in a different room than usual.
If I'm right, I think that's Earthworm Jim's great-great-grandfather.
The photographs seem very familiar, though.
That shouldn't be familiar. The character's name is Gregor. And yes, it is. The one thing that I've been told about the game, I haven't read any of the books, and the one thing that I've been told about the game that this is derivative from is that they've kind of concentrated on the core aspect of the Kafka book, in that it is a guy that gets turned into an insect, but then a lot of the ambiguity and the model and the various bits and pieces within it weren't really made into the game. But what is with this furniture? I believe we are shrinking. So we're in, again, a similar room as what we were in. So now we have a bit of a problem, because now if I wasn't 3-year-old size already, I definitely am now. So we're going to need to get the key into the lock. We don't have any insectoid powers right now. Oh, okay. Hang on a second, weeps. Cheers. Oh, I've actually got it quite loud. I think the audio might be quite low anyway. Hello, Indy.
If I don't leave soon, I'll be late for work.
I would do something about that, Weebs, but I can't. I've got it up to hello super, got it up to max. So there's there's a lot of things going on here. Like, I didn't even have to interact with this for it to fall. So it was, when I first found this out, it was kind of like pot luck that it just fell for me. So, but it's okay. We're not insectoid vermin yet. And seems to be a lot of bouncing. I don't remember this the first time I played. Dear Mr. Samsa, as things stand, the location of the key remains an unsolved mystery. Oh, I'll tell you what, Indy, you're going to love this game, mate. Reaching the door handle might seem somewhat difficult, but we are confident you're up to the task. We hope you have what it takes to get to the tower. Okay, well, let's start looking for that key then. Nope, not in here. Ooh, is that a body? Oh no, it's a pipe. Ah, I can't even get them. Okay, well, obviously the key isn't in there, and I don't think I should touch that drawer anymore. What about this one? Nope. Oh, I found it. Again, like, it would be such a little thing for just, you can grab that anywhere and it puts the key in your hand properly, as opposed to this is a model that we just grip on. Again, though, I don't know, am I being too finicky? For me, in VR, it's little things like that that are a bit immersion breaking, and then if I have to kind of sort them out, it feels a bit strange. Don't know. Maybe it is just me. Maybe I am being overly critical. Oh, where's the... That's because I tried to open the drawer with one hand. Bear with. I can't get the key. Yeah, I thought that would be hard. Yeah, well, this is why you're no good at puzzle games, indeed. Okay, so that's a little thing that I didn't realise previously, is grab a key. And I think it was... No, it's because I interacted with something else with my left hand whilst holding something in my right. At least if I drop it, it returns to where it was. Come here, you... But yeah, it would have been nice if, like, I'd grip that like a real person, and not Indy. No, and maybe that's the reason why he holds it like this. I don't know. There's a generous amount of clipping going on there, though. Let's get that door open. Cool. Well, it's obviously all part of the puzzle, isn't it? I'm sure we'll find that later. So here is where the scale starts to take a turn. Let's see, yeah, I shouldn't have thrown that key behind the chest of drawers. It's the likes of Von who has to go and clean up after me in these VR games. Should really be a little bit more conscientious. Said me never. Who does that? I mean, it's a good use of space, I guess, but... So I'm also starting to get faster as well.
Is this an air duct? How on earth do I fit in there?
And
These aren't the legs I'm used to. I know this sounds ludicrous, but could I be a bug?
now the audio is quite quiet for me, but as I said, there's not really any way for me to adjust it. I've at least got the audio in sync. But yeah, so congratulations, chat. I am now insectoid vermin. So, thankfully, like, I've been turned into an insect, quite literally. I can still move with the movement key. Now, I do think, in all honesty, the crowd that this is going to be aimed at in VR, because I don't think this is my kind of game. Although I can play it, and, you know, it's a bit of a platformer as well, and I do like platformers. The problem is, I don't think the demographic that this is ordered for are going to have the strongest of VR legs, which I'm going to contradict later on with what I wanted from this game. It feels very skirty in that I'm moving around very quickly. There are being some comfort options added, but yeah. So we get our little instructions as to how we are supposed to VR within this game. So, walking and running is done by holding down the buttons on the triggers, and then up, down, up, down, up, down. Now, I can see what the developers are going for here, but it's not a very good way to control speed, and also I'm not touching the floor, so I don't feel like insectoid vermin running around being all scuttly. Instead, I feel like a guy in a really bad insect suit at maybe a Comic-Con or something. I don't know. And so that's your movement. And now, one of the things that got me about this game straight away was the lack of scuttling, and I've kind of shown you. The other thing as well is, and you do that by holding the triggers down and then moving your hands up and down. I've made sure, even though I don't think the controls in VR are particularly good, I've made sure that I can do them and do them well. They're fiddly at the best of times. Holding both the triggers and putting both hands up allows us to leap. Now, the problem with that in VR is the leaps that we're expected to make are actually quite precise. This is quite a difficult platformer, I think, and I've played VR platforming. I still don't think platforming in VR is a great idea, but anyway. So the other thing that we've got as well is interactions with various objects. Now, thankfully, you can just move around with the D-pad, so we don't need our front pins. Well, I suppose they're supposed to be legs, aren't they? We don't need our front legs. We can just move around with the D-stick, but then all of a sudden we're no longer a cockroach, and it feels like we've become a bit of a pond skater. I would have liked to see a little bit more writhing and movement as an insect. I'd also like, I was expecting sort of, I know this isn't in the original game, but I was expecting kind of like that bug eye lens or fish eye lens thing. I don't know why, just as the option to... It should be on, and then the option to remove it. Just to make me feel a little bit more insecty, I guess. So the VR controls... It's a good attempt, but I don't think it's near enough the money. But thankfully, we can move around with the left thumbstick and we can jump with A, which, I'll be honest, even with this, we're gonna need, because stuff like that happens. It's very difficult to gauge how far you're gonna jump. Whereas with the A button, it's actually quite easy. You'll also see as well that I don't actually have a lot of control in the air when I jump. It's almost like you move stupidly fast on the ground, and then when you leap, I don't have the sort of precision that I would expect. Now you think like, guys, okay, you're a bug, Silver, it'll be fine. It'll come out in the wash, right? With the level of precision that is asked for in some of this platforming, no? Anyway. So, you'll be all happy to know that the first puzzle you can completely skip just by going through the vents, but we'll interact with it. There is a little bit of skittering. As I said, I think the volume might be... Let me check my volume levels. I mean, if you turn it up really loud, then you're going to get blasted by my voice. I've got the volume up reasonably high, like at the maximum of what I usually have my OBS on, and I've got my voice actually really far down. It's another thing that the original has, is depending on the different surfaces that you are on, it makes different noises. But anyway, as I said, there's some bad things with this game and some questionable things with this game. The one thing that is very cool is all that sense of scale. It all does feel huge and big. And, you know, graphics-wise, I mean, I've seen better on the Quest 3, I must admit. But they've definitely got the scale right. The scale hath been nailed. So, for movement, we've got a few options, thankfully. One of them, you have to hold grip and trigger, and then that allows you to move things. And it kind of works as long as you... But again, like, I feel like I'm too high, and there's no crouch button in this. I should be down here and be able to actually touch the thing, but it feels very high, and so all of a sudden it isn't quite as immersive, because I'm supposed to be using these hands to move this, but they're not that low. So, but the other thing as well that you can do if this becomes a struggle, because it's not a great system again, is if you hold the grips and hold the triggers, I found that you can use the directional pad to do this, and that actually has the advantage of you being able to watch what you are manipulating instead of trying to get all hands nasty down on it or whatnot. But anyway, so yeah, first puzzle, I would have liked... I mean, it's not really a puzzle. I would have liked to see them a little bit close together, so you actually have to do it, because otherwise you could just skip all of this and jump through. I'd never do that myself, but anyway. Right, okay, insect suit, let's go!
Alright, focus. You don't want to fall from this high up.
Now, again, I don't know how well these things come out. We are, of course, native on the MetaQuest 3. And it's this that is probably the standout feature of the game. I've never played a game in VR like this, where you have this sense of scale, and a lot of this is explorable. One of the things that I can compare it to is the flat screen version. Now, I haven't played it, but I had a look at it to see what I was letting myself in for. Just a little look. And there's one quite big feature in that is missing from this. Now, I'm not saying that I'd want it in this, because I've found navigation not too difficult, but I do know that Indie VR and people like him exist in this VR puzzle space. And one of the abilities that the flat game has is the ability to kind of zoom out and see where you are. Now, they could do that because there's been games where you kind of zoom out to kind of like a god mode. And the reason why you do that is because everything is so big and scaled and you're reasonably low down to the ground. Seeing platforms, seeing ledges and seeing things that you can interact with can be quite difficult. So it's zooming out to that overhead view would be useful. Even a marker to say where you're going. I know a lot of people have suggested that. Now, that's not to say that you need it, but then what my experience of this game has been is that you have to spend an awful long time to find out where you're going, which then extends the runtime of a game that is quite short. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to demonstrate to you what I mean about, because as you can see, when I'm using the D-pad and when I'm using the A, this is not a problem. This is fine. It's absolutely fine. Let's try and engage with those VR controls, shall we? So I'm holding both triggers, and if I take things gingerly, I mean, I still feel like a bug at a Comic-Con convention in a rubbish bug suit, but then the jump in bug go splat. The jump in is just and if I remember rightly as well, there's no way other than using the directional pad to control yourself in the air. Now that is a problem because let me just confirm that a second. So walking along these, because it's quite twitchy as well, and as long as you keep it nice and slow, it's fine. But then, and I get what the devs are trying to do. They're trying to mimic the movements of insects, but my legs aren't touching anything. So nice, and it's also quite slidey as well. It's based on where you have your legs, and so you either look like you're doing quite an unnatural movement or you're not doing it right. So what we'll do, I'm hoping they take another look at the VR side of things on this. But then it's a case of like, well, if you're not interacting with the VR movement, as you guys who watch me play things regularly, like especially with things like flight sims, yes, you can use the joystick, but I'm in VR, goddamn, I want to grab it with my hand and move it around. And so, because if not, then you might, this game's on flat screen. So, now, again, the argument is you might not have flat screen, but still, I want my VR experience to be a VR experience. And as I said, I mean, again, I don't know how good it looks. It's not going to be amazing because we're on native Quest. I'm not a graphics guy. I'm happy with it. Actually, that's a good point. Hang on. Even with the A button, it can still be a bit. So, no, the bug does not go where you are looking. It goes depending on which way you move the stick. Sorry, I should have mentioned that previously. So, but then that's the thing is, there's no way or very little. In fact, I've got to test that now. Okay, so you can control yourself in the air a little bit, but I now feel like a guy in a bug suit at Comic-Con who's flailing their arms a lot to try and do that. And I don't know, I'm supposed to be an insect overlord. I wanted precision. And if the thing is, you kind of need it in a game like this. Because, like, these are not generous platforms. They're really not. That's, I mean, well, some of them are. A lot of them later on are really not. It is cool trying to find your way and navigate, but I suppose that's going to be another problem that this game is going to have. It's going to be a bit of a one and done. There are multiple endings to it, but I think you can have this one done in about 3 or 4 hours, or at least that's the kind of runtime that you're going to get from the flat version. Okay. Thankfully, we can't just slip off. That's good.
Almost.
But, so, here's something that... Oh, so that's based on whether you have head movement or joystick movement. Now, I always play my games so I move where my head is at. So to do anything different is a bit weird. I like to be moving in the direction of my head. That's not how the VR controls work, but it is how the joystick works. So that's fine, but again, I'm now using joystick instead of interacting with what is supposed to be a VR feature. Now, here's the big thing that I think these devs have missed, and it's something that I would have expected to see in this, but we haven't got. And it's also something that I would have thought would be a big point of contention, so maybe that's why they didn't put it in. I'm an insect. I've got these, and as I'm scuttling, surely I should be stuck to the things, and I should be like that. And then as I come up over here, I should be like that. And then I should be able to scuttle underneath. That's what insects do, right? That's what the insects that I've seen do anyway. They scuttle and they go all around the things. Now, that feature for people on flat screen could be nauseous. And, I mean, I don't think I'd get too nauseous of it in VR. And it's something, like with other games that I play where I go upside down a lot, it'd be something that makes this quite stand out, is that, you know, you feel more bug-like in that you're scuttling. But right now, I just feel like guy in a bug suit running around on large furniture. And again, I'm using the argument that, you know, may be made is, oh, well, you're not actually a cockroach, you're a human insect. Okay, well, kind of looks like a cockroach to me, but... And that, like, I don't know if a bug-eyed lens would help, or again, if that would polarize people. So, let's try and get past this first bit, shall we? The jumps seem to be very precarious. One of the other things that I'd say as well is, with some of the things that you are asked to do in this game, the checkpoint system, we could just go down there. The checkpoint system, like, that feels high, even though, you know, we're barely at waist height. The checkpoint system in this game is not very generous, so you can end up doing a lot of precarious jumps, going from platform to platform, falling off, and then having to do it all over again. And again, this is what I'm talking about with these insectoid mandibles, front legs. Well, they're not mandibles, but front legs. Is I'm more presenting to you and just moving around. And, like, it's cool that we've got something that isn't arms, but I then feel like I'm in a suit as opposed to the thing that I'm supposed to be. Don't know.
Made it.
Made it. Oh, that needs dusting. And exploring it all from this lower level is very cool. Like, we're in somebody's drawer now, not drawers, drawer. The other thing that seems a bit strange is for us to be able to do a limited amount of, well, I'm not even going to call it scuttling. I'm going to call it climbing. Is we have to dip our arms in this, and we only need that bit, and it seems to me like I've put my hands in it and then all of a sudden I'm textured all the way up to the top here. And this is VR. Like, couldn't they have put a little bit of an effect in where you put it in and you can maybe like slaver it up? Not that we need it anywhere past these bits, but anyway, the little things. So this is the climbing side. There is a way to do this with the joystick. I'm not also hearing a lot of audio. They did say that there was audio problems. I think there's supposed to be music. It might cut in later on. The climbing's a little weird, but I can see why they've done it and how it would suit this sort of thing. It's not to say it's great, but what you need to do is you need to hold the grips and then keeping one point on at a time. The other thing that I find is, unless you keep your head quite far back from where you are looking whilst you're attempting this, you'll often kind of push your face through the object that you're trying to go through. And I think that's the accelerated climbing that I'm getting there whilst I'm reaching, but it just looks like I'm falling, but it's actually me going quicker and higher. So yeah, the climbing's not so great. Anyway, did I mentioned the sense of scale, right? It's just, yeah. Like, you can see how fast I'm going, and if I'm right, I think... Oh, yeah, we've got story to do here, then we've got to go over there. This is one of the things that is quite cool. That was the introduction to this game, and we've scuttled onto a page, and one of the things that this game does as you are going through is you end up going into the objects that you are investigating, and it leads to other worlds. Good job I found you, because you weren't going to follow me around, Metamorphosis. So, we are now, if you can't see, or if it's not so obvious, we are actually in the letter. And this is where I kind of found...
Inside the letter?
Right? So shocked. It's where I found that the controls for something that is... It's not difficult, but there is a level of precision here.
What? How do they know my name?
Like trying to use this? No way.
Into a bug in your bed? Are you feeling uncomfortable in your new skin? Or rather, exoskeleton? Everything seems unfamiliar and bizarre.
Got that right, voice.
This is all just a bad dream.
Hope so.
Everything is fine.
Fine? This is fine?
The devs have asked that we pay special attention to the environments and the scale. Well, I pay special attention to the scale of things because I haven't experienced anything like this in VR. Textures wise, don't know how much you guys and gals can see. There are room for improvement. Again, I'm not a graphics guy, so I've played a lot worse, and it's not really something that I want to comment on, because if I was going to comment on it, then I should go and buy PC VR and get into that proper. I don't care for graphics, I care for decent gameplay. And anyone who has a Quest 3 should probably be on the similar sort of ilk, which I know most of you are. Oh, you... So, yeah. Yes. So this is what I was talking about with the save point side of things. Oh, yep. Oh, I got it. I didn't realise I still had...
This is
Oh, I don't.
Did you transform into a bug in your bed? Are you feeling uncomfortable in your new...
And yes, I do, Indy, and it still doesn't work very well for me. I hate PC VR. Oh. So again, as I said, the jumps are very precise, and you do have a level of agility, but it just seems really twitchy. And then sometimes it feels like you don't go as far as you should, and other times it feels like you catapult past the platform.
Fine. This is fine?
Let's not hit any of those bits of black. What we need to be here is patient. Patience for the words to... I thought you were going to raise up. Can I even make that? Yes. Yes, I can make it. Relax. Everything's fine. Yeah. Just like LV426 when they said it was just the communications error. Relax, everything's fine.
There are more people like you who change into insects, but pulled through and even found a job.
But I had a job. What? How do they know my name?
This is a bit of a problem as well. Again, this I think is something that's being addressed. The captions that come in front of you seem to be a bit all over the place. I've left them on for the purposes of the stream. I believe there will be the option to turn them off, just so you guys can see it, but then you kind of end up chasing the captions around with your vision. Can you imagine me doing it this way? Have I got climb? I have got climb. Oh no. Oh, I'm throwing myself off.
You are not the only one. There are more people like you who and even found a job.
But I had a job. What? How do they know
So
my name?
it was one of the first things that I did with this game. Is I played it for a little bit, hoping to be filled with excitement and wonder, and instead I just found this game that was a bit of a twitchy platformer. Again, I was at full run there. I've learned from this section that it is easier to just throw yourself off.
Like you who change into insects, but pull through and
Like, look at some of these jumps that I'm doing.
But I had a
Now,
job.
you can... I'm pretty sure you can run faster when you're doing the whole mandible thing. We need to be up on this top-hand corner so I can get that little bit of height. I'm throwing my arms up in the air as a stride thing. I'm not holding anything or doing anything particularly VR. I'm just willing myself over these things. There we go. I'll stop doing it now.
yes, a job.
There we go.
All thanks to Tower.
They hire bugs at Tower?
So again, I don't know how much of this you're hearing. There isn't any real way for me to do a massive amount more with the audio. It's already fairly loud, and I think I'm trying to keep reasonably quiet. But the general premise is, you've been changed into a bug for reasons. And if you want to change back, go to the tower. And thus our adventure begins.
Tower is a modern office space offering honest, highly paid work to people turned into bugs. At Tower, you'll soak up specialist skills, acquaint yourself with amicable arthropod associates, obtain opportunities for occupational augmentation, and discover a
Why are they up there?
destiny for yourself.
And why are you trying to get away from me?
Employees,
Come backwards.
returning back to human form.
Ha! I knew it. I knew there was a way to fix all that.
When I'm talking, it's fine, but they seem to be like a bit close. And when someone else is talking, it's above my forehead. Again, these bits and pieces I've seen from the Discord are known about. Musical score is good when it's working. Again, there are audio issues. They are being resolved. I suppose my big problem with the game is that the main gameplay element of it, they've tried to do a bit of a pass and make it VR-ish. But I think a lot of people are going to do the same as me because of the level of precision that's required. You're going to jump with A and move with the controller, and yeah. And I've tried. God knows I've tried. Hopefully they need salespeople at the tower. That'd be good. I can do that. I mean, maybe not for the game, but just in general. And I think this one... Again, I'm just trying to send myself over. I'm used to doing jumps that I can't make in stride that motion. Let's try and make this one. So I would go run, run, run. So it's like ones where you've got quite a large landing platform. Yeah, that's fine. But if you watched what I was doing there, there's quite a bit of precision, and it's only going to get more precise as well. A lot of the transitions from one area to another are loading screens as well, which... Again, you know, I get it. Headset limitations and so on. Hmm?
Am I in a drawer? Does it get any stranger?
You think being in a drawer is strange? Oh, this guy. I was trying to work out the time period as well. I think...
He can't see me. I need to climb higher up.
I think it's sort of like World War One, World War Two era, or maybe like late Victorian. Again, K2 will probably be able to tell us. Here's one thing that I do applaud. Whoever designed these drawers is either an ex-smoker or trying to quit. There are packets of fags and massive amounts of cigarettes absolutely everywhere. And part of the cool of this is trying to find your way up. Because a lot of the time you are always trying to get up. And again, I mean, I know we're not a fly, and I know we're not kind of sifting around in stuff that other people have left behind from their rear end and rubbing it together and rubbing it on other things, but... Yeah, I don't even put my hands into it. I just walk on it, and all of a sudden, I've got it all over my arms. And again, is it too much to ask to maybe scoop a little bit of that up and then run it down one arm, and then scoop a little bit of that up and run it down another? At least I'd be able to go, look, VR things! Nope. Nope. But the sense of scale is cool. One of the things that I can say is, as far as cutscenes are concerned, there aren't many of them.
Joseph, it's you.
Shame on it. Hey,
Look what's happened to me.
don't blame it, Indy.
You have to help me.
So, again, if the audio's been in and out, this is the guy whose house we were staying at. And I need to wake him. And, in a minute, you're going to see this guy do something that I know Indy enjoys. Yeah, look, there he goes. Book sniffing. I know Von's into that as well. So, hey, look, don't judge people, all right? Some books smell really cool and really weird. And, yeah. But the sense of scale is great. There is that whole feeling of, please don't... Yeah, you're probably not wrong, Indy. It does have that sense of, please don't look down at me. I don't want to be squashed. I don't think there is any danger of that. So, right, we do have the technology, though. We are good. And I think when you are good, I think the only thing that you can't climb is glass. I'll try and keep these movements small so I don't... I wanted to do that bit. Again. Like, so one of the things that I have found that having to look up a lot of the time when you're climbing, because you are going to be doing a fair amount of climbing, I would have preferred the whole latching on thing, and then it may be changing the perspective to this so that I feel like I'm a bug climbing as opposed to, I don't know, Doc Ock, but a really bad Comic-Con Doc Ock version, and like using the things on his back, and then that transition wouldn't have been quite as nasty, I guess. So, but again, quite a lot of VR games do that, where you do the thing and then it just finishes it off for you to stop you feeling like a klutz. So anyway, lovely ashtray there. And if you spend the time to look around and appreciate the scale, there is a lot of cool stuff. Again, I suppose the wow factor of this game is like, oh, I've never been this small in these sort of worlds before. I'm looking for good points. There's a lot of that as well, where your head gets too close to something and you can quite easily put your head through it, which can actually help when you're trying to work out where you're supposed to be going. Some of these things, because you are insectoid vermin and having to do a lot of climbing, are actually quite big, and so you have to do a lot of climbing. You do have, like, we're not going to be able to climb that though because it's glass, but everything else. And you may be thinking, well, what, do you just want to end it all and throw yourself into the fan? Well, I would, but it seems to be one of those fans that just blows and doesn't suck. So, yeah. If we go on the other side, we'll get blown back into the drawer, so you have to come around. The pathing in the game is reasonably linear in that you need to get from A to B. It's not like a proper open and free world, or at least not at this stage anyway. But as you get further into the game, I believe there are some branches and some paths. I got fairly far. I got to the point where I think I had multiple ways to go. We may see that tonight. At the moment, though, I need to touch this button.
Nice. Now for the alarm clock.
That turns off the fan. Scuttle, 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 scuttle. It just... yeah, maybe don't jump at things yet either. But I don't know, is that too much to ask? The whole perspective change thing? Because I think that would have made this a lot more standout if, as I was scuttling over things, like I've never had that in many games before, let alone VR. Like, Alien vs Predator was not a particularly amazing game, or at least the ones that I played later on like the Xbox and PlayStation, but playing as the alien and that level of maneuverability that you had, and going up walls and upside down and your perspective shifting to it, and you would be considered a decent player if you could work with that and still do your job. And I don't know, it just seems like, I don't know, I expected to be scuttling, and instead I feel like a man with 2 insectoid legs dripping with, I don't even know what it is. Glue? So these cylinders are obviously quite a big part of the game. That's what we need to do here. Again, we hold both grips and triggers, and then we can do this. Set the alarm clock off. But again, my problem here is, like, my legs aren't actually interacting. The device is down here and my legs are up here. There is no duck button. The sense of, like, for it to look proper and for me to feel like I'm actually doing it, I need to take a knee. Yeah, I can, if I was forced to. Fair enough.
I demand to know who you are. And is there someone behind the door?
So yeah, that guy's just woken up and this guy's in his room. Sorry, I was...
For sure I am. Does Miss Grubach know about this incident? I can't imagine this is acceptable for her. And who is in Frau Bürstner's room? Do you know Miss Bürstner well? She is my neighbor, of course I know her. I don't.
Can we hear that well enough, chat, or not? It's not really an awful lot I can do.
How well? We are simply acquaintances. But why does that interest you? Has she done anything wrong?
I mean, I'll say the audio mix in the game is good.
No idea.
I can hear the voices and the music in the background.
Enough of this chicanery. Are you the police? Is Frau Bürstner in some kind of trouble?
I have turned my voice down and the game
In trouble.
very much far up.
You come in, ask about her.
What makes you think it's about her?
Well, it's certainly not about me. Now, is it? You are the police.
Were you expecting the police?
No. No, I wasn't expecting anybody. Least of all you, whoever you are. I have to call Miss Grubach.
Why do you need Miss Grubach?
You just keep asking questions, don't you? Well, listen. You don't deny anything and you don't affirm anything. You just stand there and stare at me.
That's what you want to wake up to in the morning, isn't it?
Your name and your function.
Why do you need to know my name?
Actually, you're right. I don't want to know your name. Why am I even speaking to you? Miss Grubach!
She cannot come at this time.
Oh, she can come at this time. It's her apartment after all.
How long have you been living here?
Long enough. But this
Oh.
situation is new to me.
That wasn't correct.
I won't say
No.
another word until I see the supervisor.
Don't know what that is. I think, okay, I think this was added. This is where I'm supposed to be going. I'm trying to VR and it's, yeah. Yeah, I think that gives me an idea of where I'm going, but I know I'm supposed to be. The thing is, no, you can't skip these scenes, but I could just walk through them and they would play on around me. That I like in VR. Hello, Doc. I think that's one of the things that Hellsinger got wrong, is that it like it zooms out the perspective and, you know, you just either have to skip the gameplay or you're kind of looking around from a god mode, trying to find out where the action's actually going on. I'd much rather be the cutscene or be in the cutscene. I mean, like, I like the gold, but I want to ink up. Can we go up that? I know it doesn't look like it, chat, but this is actually quite a lot of work. There are various climbs that I've made in this game because I've been like, can you get up there? And thing is, as long as it's not glass, you can. Can I move? Oh, don't let go. Don't know. Oh, there we go. At the top. And if I can grab onto him. No, that'd be silly. definitely give yourself a decent sense of vertigo if you're into that. As I've said before, amongst my VR adventures, I'm way too used to VR now. And so anything that can throw me a little bit of a curveball instantly has my attention. And I could see this one being quite a difficult play for various people. Can I get up there? I've never tried. That was another thing that I found whilst I was playing as well. If you hold the grip buttons as you are flying, you stop dead, which seems a bit counterintuitive. But I do like the fact that I am glued up and I can circumvent the little puzzles if I want to put the effort in. So I was supposed to get over to that side, I think it was. That's never great, but there you go. What we're supposed to do is lean... I'll show you. Lean on one end. I think you genuinely do move faster when you do this. I'm just not a fan of the lack of precision that you get from that. And again, I know we're an insect, but I don't know. Oh, for fuck's sake. Don't put me under the book. How am I supposed to get out of here? Oh, come on now. Come on now. Sometimes, oh, there we go. Sometimes it's a strange one with how they've tried to handle the programming in here. Sometimes it feels like you're skating on ice. Sometimes you land flat. The control, like if I'm running and there's no dash or not dash, you're either at full speed or not. So I guess that feels faster, I think. So if you want to go real fast, you have to do this, but you can go at a reasonable speed. You can go fast enough by doing the normal one. But like, for instance, if I'm at full forward, jump and then pull back, it will slow me up, but it won't stop me. And that's what's the easiest way to describe it? It's like playing as Luigi in Super Mario 2. Yeah, I think I have it. It's like playing as Luigi in Super Mario 2. For people who don't get that reference, Luigi has a very long and high jump, like a Luigi jump but faster, but it's very floaty and quite difficult to control at the best of times. And again, it's not like I shirk away from platformers. I've done a lot of platforming in my time. That seems to be a bit of a thing, bit of a reoccurring thing within the game. Is like the hitboxes on the things have either shifted or haven't been finished off, because at the moment we're floating. And again, I know there's a pass to go on. It is quite a big one. I know there's a pass to go on here and there is an update, but again, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of the time when I play a game before it comes out and there is a, pre-launch or, post-launch patch, it never really does that much. And I think enough needs doing to it. Like, it would have been nice to be able to have a little munch on that. Make me feel like vermin, like insectoidy, but I can just make it so that when this guy goes into his drawer next, he can't find his... Well, I assume they're carrots. Are they carrots? They could be toffees, couldn't they? In which case, I should be all over these. I suppose I've got glue on my hands, though. You know? Like Daisy, if you don't have clean hands, maybe we'll get some kind of disease. Oh, and also, hello... hello up. Good. But the thing is, there's no reason to do that in this game. I don't feel like an insect. And I was really hoping to come on this game originally. I knew I wouldn't be tonight, but I was hoping to come on and be insectoid vermin and feel like an insect. For one of the things that it does do, but I don't think it does it very well, is I still have the same voice. My character still has the same voice. Now, maybe that's intentional, or the voice that I'm listening to when he's talking is his monologue inside his head. But I would expect an insect, and occasionally it dips into the insecty style voice. And I expected it to be, yeah, just more insecty. Why? Oh, right, okay. It's because it's... Am I supposed to be going up that side then? Yeah, it is up there. So this isn't the way. You should be... Can we go up to the top of here? What's up here? There we go, perfect. Oh, we were supposed to jump across there. Ah, look, spiderwebs. Imminent threat, mayhap. There are secrets in the game. I've already missed one, actually. But it's these little things, and you knock them over. So they're collectibles. And again, it's to encourage multiple playthroughs, I believe. Or is this actually the way? No, this is the way. So, the one thing that I will say is, I didn't mind too much exploring and getting a little bit lost. I never got to a point where I was kind of frustrated and didn't really know which way to go, because you can, as long as it's not glass, you can climb it. That's not, again, not another good example, but...
I think I see a bug. This might be my only chance to get my bearings.
That seems to happen quite a lot as well. But again, these are the audio issues that I believe they are aware of.
Are you going to the tower by any chance?
Whoa. A talking bug.
What's so weird about it?
Nothing, I suppose.
Are you going to tower?
I am. You want to get there?
I was just on my way, but I can't make it any further.
I'm very sorry.
Sorry, I skipped that. He's too hungry.
Please help me, will you?
I'd be glad to, but I have nothing to eat myself.
Oh, I got this glue if you want it.
I have an apple.
I have glue. You can have a sniff.
Why don't you eat then?
Well, the way to the apple is flooded.
What am I supposed to do about it?
You need to close the valve. I will be able to pass through then.
Why don't you go and close it yourself?
I'm too hungry to move. Help me, and you'll help yourself.
I didn't press anything then. That dialogue ended by itself.
How is that?
Is it? So their voice is high, mine isn't.
The water
Right,
also
thank you.
flooded the path to tower.
Yeah, that even does sound
You need to close
louder.
the valve. It's in a hole on top of the cupboard behind Ulysses.
It's fine for me. The one thing that I will say audio-wise is if you are struggling to hear some of the dialogue, it's fine when you're in-game. You can never expect the developer to tailor a game for streaming purposes, although some do. It seems a bit silly to at least not give it a pass over because of the fact that it could potentially be free advertisement for them. But the other thing that I found, and again, this is leveled at quite a lot of developers of games in general, and seems to be more VR as well, is the sound options are all tied together. So you'll maybe have music and sound effects, and like all the voicing for characters or in multiplayer or what have you is all tied to the same thing. There are many exceptions to that rule. For instance, well, yeah, I won't name any other games, but there are devs who do get it right, and the easiest way around it... Oh, don't scuttle around too much, buddy. I'm an insect too. I've got glue on my hands. The way around it is to have lots and lots and lots of different... Yeah, I've got to be very careful with my bug speak. Lots and lots of different bars, so that you can adjust the music, you can adjust the sound effects, you can adjust voice, you can adjust ambience, you can adjust background noise, and then somebody like me, regardless of whether the soundscape is done well or not, can get it where I need to. That should, but again, they are giving the audio another pass over. So, like, the character models and the textures on these bugs, if you stay still so that I can, like, I don't know, what do we do? Do like insects sniff each other's asses or something? I've never been in this situation before. I mean, you're definitely a bug. I'm just a man in a bug suit. So, anyway, there's the apple that we need to get to. Let's go. We're going up. Now, normally, as I said, you would be... I'm not. I don't want to climb that. I could. I think I could. I don't want to climb that. I don't want to climb that. It's well high. Rub the antenna, right? Let's go up here. Come on now. You can do it. No? Try here. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed... I suppose I could just go back the way I came. Again, some of the...
It seems like a passageway.
Oh, okay. It's just got bored of me. I must be. Must be. Hello, Beavis. Right, now we've got to go up and round that way. So this is so I've seen how the game normally plays. And I'm all for looking around and actually exploring and having a look through the various bits and pieces. I think, if I'm right, that's where we need to get to, but we have to go round. And you can get a much better idea. The perspective and what you can see from down here is limited, but because you've usually got the ability to climb things, sometimes poorly, you can usually find a way. But like, for instance, if I was out here on the flat version of the game, I could press a button and get like their view of me so I could see what I have to do. Instead, I kind of have to put up with this, and that's fine. They are talking about adding sort of like objective markers like there was down there, but there's a lot missing at the moment. I'll be honest, I haven't found myself needing them, and I've got quite far into this quite quickly. I've kind of slowed my pace down a little bit so we can talk and discuss. Was it that way? No, I don't think it was that way. Ooh! I think it was this way. Can hear little scuttling noises in the background, but not a lot. Nope. Not that. And I do like the fact that you can... I don't even know if this is the correct way, but if I've got the ability to climb, well then of course I'm going to try and find a way of my own regard. Okay, it's probably... Ooh. Nope. Scuttle, scuttle. Knowing that that's faster if I have got like quite a long and straight route it's not too bad. But still, hello, Beavis. I can't remember if I said hello, Beavis. I mean, I could... Yeah, that works. Avoid the webs. And this is the problem, is I don't know if I'm supposed to be going this way, but it works. And I do like the fact that, like, this is why I found personally I didn't really need any kind of objective markers or any bits and pieces. Let's go and have a look and see what we were supposed to do. So we were supposed to go back into the drawer and kind of come back the way we came, I think. This is where... Oh, hang on a second. Nope, that's not it. This is where we come afterwards. So we need to get higher. Oh, look, it's having sympathy on me. I know I need to get higher. I think I was supposed to get up here and go around this way. So I believe we're now in the next drawer up. I don't quite know why they've got multiple splodges of glue everywhere. I mean, it adds a splash of colour, but it's not like I need to top up. Although, having said that...
Back to the drawer.
I've lost...
Joseph's
like, that's how much I figured I should have. And I should be able to scoop it up and put it on myself. That would make it VR, wouldn't it?
Perhaps I could turn it on.
So, glass means that... Oh, that isn't glass. Okay. What is that then? I mean, it looks glass. I'm sure we'll find a way up. I don't think we're going to be able to make that. Okay, well, we can climb. Now, I know it doesn't look like it, chat, but these climbs are actually really long. And again, I'm holding the grips in and like latching on with one point. So it's not like your atypical climbing mechanic where put hand to where you want it and grab, and then move hand to where you want it, grab, release, grab. It's hold down and then anchor one point and stick the other. And as I understand it, a lot of people, I don't think they quite got that were playing the beta side of things. What did I do here last time? Was it moving this? Yeah.
Joseph! Can't hear me. Or perhaps you'll see me if I climb higher up.
Nothing happens by itself, Mr. K.
Oh, give me a break. You seem to have an answer for everything.
Because there is a reason for everything.
Oh, like your visit to... Who's there? Let's see.
Wouldn't you rather just stay...
Delightful.
I want neither to stay here, nor to
Another
talk
officer.
to you.
What's going on?
I didn't mean anything wrong.
Didn't Franz tell you to stay in your room?
I demand to talk to Miss Grubach this instant.
That won't be possible.
What do you mean, not possible? I want to speak with my landlady.
Like, they could have replaced this all with a cutscene, and this is good. This is one of the more redeeming features of the game, actually looking at what's going on, but I might get crushed at any minute. I won't get crushed.
Somebody must have made a false accusation.
Hey, I can talk! Talk to me! Oh, maybe that's why this is the worst game for me ever, because nobody can hear me down here! Oh,
I seem not to be able to find my wallet. It might have been stolen from me.
That would be most unfortunate.
Indeed. How about you
So yeah, the reset points always seem to be either a little further back than you'd think, or obnoxiously far back.
On the other hand, you should really calm down.
I'm a very calm man.
But again, that was all to do with me pressing the A button and kind of flying forwards as opposed to moving forwards.
Arrest. And above all, in such a way.
Scuttle.
Do you think proceedings
Oh God, feel like a pond skater.
one end of the identity document from the other? We are merely junior officials tasked with watching over you for the next few hours. That's all we are. But we understand that before making any arrest, the high authorities that we serve make sure they're well informed of the case and the accused.
Tell me, then, for what crime am I supposed to be under arrest?
We're not allowed to tell you anything more about your arrest. Proceedings are underway, and you'll be told everything, all in good time. I'm already breaking the rules being so polite with you. I
What a
hope
diamond geezer.
Franz can hear this. He too is much more polite than he ought to be. Quite frankly, if your luck with the guards continues, you
Ooh, ink.
have nothing to fear.
Ha! But oh, hang on, is that a bad thing?
Authority do you
Nope.
belong?
Ink is also sticky.
Law and order?
There you go.
Oh, wait.
So at least, I mean, I don't think this ink's going to grant us any superpowers. He's mining that nose gold.
Colleagues at the bank. Unthinkable. Is it some kind of mistake? If it's a joke, I'll sure be part of it.
So if I remember rightly with this one, there's two ways to do it. We can do what I'm doing here and just work my way up. I fell off, so I might as well. I think... Is it this bit?
It's guilt itself that attracts their attention.
Oh, no.
In I go. Yeah, that's right. Leave it alone. Can you see me now?
It's okay now.
I almost had a heart attack.
Your
What?
breakfast is treacherous.
How would I
Look
know?
at...
I didn't think it.
Your breakfast is treacherous. So yeah, it does seem like there's a couple of ways up to different things. I get the impression that I could have scuttled all the way up here or climbed, but instead I can climb down that guy's throat and get spat out.
So where would there be any mistake?
I don't know.
Yeah, no worries, Indy.
All the worse for you then.
I think it's a law which is existing only in your heads.
Yet you are to feel its long arm.
Ooh, promises,
You
promises.
are making a big mistake.
We're treating you politely and you don't seem to appreciate the fact. Maybe you've forgotten, but unlike you,
I
we
can't.
are still free.
I haven't been able to scuttle around in anybody yet, pockets-wise, ears, noses, or anything. These are all things that I was hoping to do as a bug,
In the meantime,
but
don't trouble your head with matters of no importance.
no, yeah, I thought it was like World War One. Well, yeah, I suppose World War One, late Victorian, isn't it? It
I must
does
be going the right way.
Besides,
suit.
you think we'd let you see the supervisor dressed like this? He
Right?
wants you thrashed.
I got spat out and I didn't even get thanked.
Let me be, for heaven's sake.
Fucking great at oral, and that officer didn't even acknowledge me.
While I'm in bed,
Feels so used. I'm not going to ask what that is. That's the pipe. That's not the pipe. There.
Here
So,
it is.
the one thing... not this side. The one thing that this game has definitely got right is that sense of scale. And I suppose it's just that thing that you've got to remember to do, is look around and you'll usually find whatever it is that you're after or a way to get up. And remember, if you have coated yourself in ink or glue, you can climb, as long as it's not glass. That affects... not ideal. That moves around as I move my head. But hey, maybe that's how it works in Bugland. And there we go. What, we spent half an hour getting up here to turn the tap off. Now, the problem that I've got is you could sit there and listen to those guys argue for what I gather is all day. I do feel like I did that, and we have been asked when we're presenting this game to, you know, not ignore dialogue. I'm trying not to ignore the important bits, but obviously you guys are only able to really hear when they're talking and not the other half, and the captions are a little bit. But also in a game that's very heavily story orientated, I don't really want to spoil too much of it, but I will try and keep an eye on it. The one thing that we did miss, and that was my fault, is there is a bug quite early on at the start, and I completely forgot about it, if I'm honest. And she informs you that those little structures that we can find and push over, she's building them. And then basically you're like, she was doing it as all part of a competition, and you're basically like, yeah, cool, I'll go and push them all over. Whee. Here we are, look. We're back where we should be. He's got his apple. Like, I mean, surely I'm hungry. I've had a busy day so far. Is there anywhere I can wash this off and maybe have some of that tasty apple? Guess not. Nope. I thought this was weird when I first started playing, and I don't know, it almost feels like it's underutilized. I wish there was a way that I could almost, like, the whole point is that I'm supposed to be an insect, right? So, but it's trying to mirror what I can do in VR with the legs as best as it can. But I kind of feel like it should be a bit of an out-of-body experience, so things should work like in VR, but a little bit differently. Like maybe I can hold buttons and elongate my front legs, I guess, and touch things with them, or reach for things that would normally be out of my grasp as a human at this size. And
There's the tower
yeah,
symbol again.
where? I never did see it the first time.
Guess I have no other choice but to go inside this pipe.
I know what the tower symbol looks like, but I didn't see it last time. Well, he's got better insectile eyes than I have. Like, that's the sort of transition. That was a good one, because, you know, we fell down the pipe. There was clearly a little bit of a... Or it might have been a loading screen, or it might have just been one complete level. I don't know. And now we enter the insectile, or start to enter the insectile world. So now, I believe we are underneath the floorboards. I say I haven't seen this sense of scale before, but I've seen this sense of vastness before, and I think it was done arguably a little bit better in Windlands 2. The sense of scale and vastness on that game is great. And what is that? This isn't Written by Geiger, is it? Feels like a guy. That feels like a very Geiger thing. Oh, it pulsates as well. We should probably just move along, yeah. That's, yeah, weird. Don't know what that's supposed to be. It's probably a... It's probably a better prequel story to Aliens than, like, Prometheus and Covenant is. Yeah, that's how Facehuggers started out. Pulsating little thing and a little tiny egg under somebody's floorboards. Oh, and this actually looks more like the ooze. Again, little things here where the things don't quite match the things. I think we can go in that. I don't think it's too deep, but obviously as well, this isn't the first time that I've seen this. I have played the game reasonably extensively. I can tell you that the platforming, if it doesn't look particularly hard at the moment, it's probably because it isn't, and I might be making a little bit of a meal of it. It does get harder later. If you are glued and remember that you can climb, there are ways to get around the puzzles. I know how to complete the puzzles, but I'd much rather go, oh, I can just do this and then jump on that. Yay! Yeah, right. Something that as I said previously as well, the sense of scale and the music is great in this. I feel like the graphics could be better. We've seen better already. Okay, got away with that. Can we drown? Yes, we can drown. That didn't put us too far back. That's okay. And I am trying to listen for it, and I'm not. I was told in the original that one of the cool things is as you scuttled across different things, it made different sounds. But there's two problems. I'm not hearing different sounds. I don't remember hearing different sounds as you scuttle. Again, might have been an audio thing, but I don't feel like I'm scuttling. I don't feel like an insect. And I don't think I'm asking too much there, because, you know, you're supposed to embody what you are in VR and the avatar of it. And then you might be thinking like, yeah, but we can give that a pass because, you know, you're an insect and that would be really hard to do in VR. It's like, well, I mean, do it though. They chose the game. They chose to take an existing game and port it over to VR. So they must have thought of all of these things before they started doing it. And again, there's parts of this that feel like it's been done by people who don't play VR again. Like, I would have loved to have... I mean, I haven't... Oh, I have. I would have loved it if I could... Oh, I don't quite know what's... That happens a lot as well. I thought that was actually the climbing feature, but on the joystick. And I think it's just climbing up invisible walls, which is a bit disappointing. I think it's just across there, then. Try and interact with the VR controls a little bit. Again, I appreciate that they're trying to do stuff in VR with it, but the climbing feels okay. I think the big problem is we haven't had to climb anything where we're sticky. We've had to climb things because we have hands. And... Oh yeah, yeah. I've told you as well. I do a wicked Gollum impression as well. So, and I can do the motions. Just haven't got the mannerisms down in the voice yet. That's all. I can repeat lines. Just can't make my own up. Is it not there? I keep sliding back down. Maybe it's not. Found a couple of sections like this as well, where I'm not actually pressing anything now, and you kind of slide when you shouldn't do. What we're doing? Going around there? No. No. Up here. No, it's not there. Yes, it is. Oh, stop it! I'm sure that's it. Hang on, let me go back a second, just double check. I wasn't doing any of that. I'm not moving. My hands are up in the air. I have my fingers off the buttons. Again, I do need to change battery. Let's just restart from last checkpoint. Oh, 7 minutes ago. I hope that's because I was talking a lot. Don't run away from me. I do find a restart usually sorts these things out. As I said, some of these issues are known about. There wasn't really an option to do any extensive bug testing, and to be honest with you, with the short amount of time that we had to be given this one, and then the time that they wanted us to publish, for me personally was not enough time to really run out the guns to do proper bug testing, which again isn't my job. I'm just here to show the game off. To do proper bug testing, well, first off, you need to be a proper Q&A guy. Secondly, you need to be being paid, and most importantly, and thirdly as well, you need a good amount of run-up time, especially if it isn't your job and you're expected to do it. We've all done our fair share of bugging. Hell, I've roped a lot of you in to do Dungeons of Eternity, but with their bug testing, just as an example, it's not like they drop the thing on us and then, you know, if they drop it on us, it's pretty much done. But with this, we didn't have very long, and I'm quite sure, I think I got this on the 3rd? Yeah. Got this on the 3rd. I thought it might have been something cool, like I touched the water, so I was skating around because of that, but I don't think it is. Right, what went wrong here? It's definitely across there, isn't it? There. Up there. Right, I need goo of some description. Like, noticed a fair bit of this as well, that because of the rough cuts of some of the geometry, things just don't piece together right, and sometimes there are, I mean, you know, if you really look for it you don't see it, but every now and again you'll see like a little gap or a little bits and pieces. Again, these are all things that get fixed over time, but I don't know, I do wish that games would just be good and working straight off the bat. I'm sure there's a lot of improvements that they can make to this game, and they can do it quickly, but the game's launching tomorrow, and yeah. Right, I'm no longer skating. That's a good start, which means I can get up here, which means we can go up here. So again, I believe some of these issues and bits and pieces they are aware of. I found that a restart, if you get some of these bugs, will sort it out. I'm prepared for these things to not be sorted out, and that it's going to be this as is. I am waiting to be surprised. Oh, did it give me that? No, did it fuck? Let's try again. And that right there is kind of the experience that I get from this. Okay, got it that time. Doesn't feel like the level of precision that I need to do it. And yeah, I find it way too often is a lot of things are said. This is literally, oh no, I did this last time, and this did turn out to be the way, but I just had to walk back. Was it here? I'm sure it was there. Yeah, there you go. What's that about? Done that before. I walked all the way down to that pipe and got to the exit of it, or got to the blocked end of it, and then it was like, and then I started walking back thinking I'd gone the wrong way, as exactly what I just did then. And then it was like, oh no, don't worry about it, mate. You have gone the right way. We just haven't loaded in the next level yet. You're too quick. So,
What is
It's-
this place? Am I between the walls of Joseph's apartment?
does answer his own questions
Looks
a
like a long
lot.
way down.
Probably is. Is when it starts getting here, when you've got like quite small mushrooms and stalks and these uppy downy wooden bits. Again, I don't feel like I'm clinging onto this like an insect would. I feel like I'm just skating over it. Now, I know some people would be like, yeah, well, you know, VR legs and VR problems. I don't want that bobble. I don't want that up and down. It's like, well, I'm playing VR. I'll be the judge of that. It should be in here for us to take off. If, like, I don't know very many games where people who are sensitive in motion sickness don't have the ability to remove those things, or at least add them on. There is a distinct lack of options in this game at the moment. What are you eating?
Stop! Who would cross the bridge of me? These questions 3.
I didn't press any buttons then.
PC.
For those of you who don't know, that's a Monty Python reference. Or maybe because, well, if this book was... Yeah, I don't know what would be first then.
Bridge of Death. Is this the only way to go?
What is your name?
Now, is it beyond a game like this for me to be able to actually answer that question? Like, could it have maybe had it so that I got a microphone bit and I could have gone whatever and said something and actually had an interaction with this guy as opposed to
Gregor Samsa.
pressing grip and doing that? I mean, I know it would deviate a little bit from the story, but this guy's obviously dicking around. Why can't I?
What is your quest?
To seek the Holy Grail. What is the speed velocity of an unladen swallow? That's the next question.
What is your favorite color?
Blue. I mean yellow. Ah!
Blue, but
See,
what has that
I
got to do with anything?
know the lines better than he does.
Nothing really. It's just that as keeper of the Bridge of Death, I have to ask 5 questions.
5 questions. 5. 3, sir. 3! Someone's got their Monty Python right.
You asked only 3 questions.
Is it African or European, though? That's the question, Reyes.
Well, 4, I guess, now that you just asked me that.
Oh, that's fine. You're supposed to be able to cross safely if you answer 5 questions correctly, but there's nothing safe about the Bridge of Death.
So how do I get across?
Watch your step and look where you lead.
Any other advice?
No.
Cheers. Thank you, fellow insect. Like, I was thinking about it today, how you could make this more scuttly. And I was thinking, like, well, maybe if you actually had more appendages, but the front ones covered the front ones, and then you had some other ones, and then maybe a combination of the triggers and the grips, and kind of getting into a motion of pressing triggers and grips and kind of like scuttling. Can I show you what I'm talking about? I can. Like doing that. That would feel more scuttly, wouldn't it? But yeah, I don't know. There we go. This is why I'm not being paid the big bucks. I don't come up with the ideas. I just play the game. There is also that question, and this is kind of the reason why I try not to criticize too much. It's like, oh, well, if you've got all the answers, you come up with the ideas. It's like, well, nah, it's not my job, is it? The other thing that I will say as well is some of the puzzles, because you can climb in this game, I may have navigated wrongly. As I've pointed out there, it is linear, but linear like, I suppose, some of the Metro games are linear. You have to get from A to B, but there are often other ways to do it. I usually find climbing, if you can't see a route or you don't want to engage with the jumping too much, those bounce you. Don't make any sound effect, though, that I heard. So, this puzzle took me a while. And it wasn't because it's difficult. It is a simple rotate the things so that you can bounce and get across to the other side. The reason why it took me a long time is a lot of these, there's like little gaps everywhere. And I'm used to them not being gaps everywhere and you can just walk over it. So all of a sudden, the level of precision rises and you find yourself creeping out along little planks like this and jumping from one little plank to another. And I cannot even comprehend doing that with the VR controllers. The level of precision needed does not suit that. Because like little movements and all of a sudden you are running blind. Now we need to get back up there now. And yeah, it can be a little frustrating. Now that wasn't what I was planning on. I mean, if you're going to allow it, I will cheat. Yeah, so this is a known bug because they said about this in the comments, and I think I can... Let's pretend that I have sprouted my wings and I'm flying, but I think you can get all the way to the end using that, so you just literally leave the puzzle as it is and bounce. I can't do anything here. Oh, I can, actually, having said that. I can press the grip buttons and it stops. But let's, for purposes of, let's interact properly. I'm going to miss that, aren't I? No, I'm on. Let's interact properly. Let's play it like we're supposed to, if I can even get back. Like these little mushroom caps. What I'm supposed to be jumping to and from. And I don't know. I've never thought that platforming in VR is a great idea. It's, yeah. Strange one. So this is where I found, like, if you hold grip and trigger, the devs have, I hope they did this on purpose, I'm pretty sure they did. If you hold those so that you're interacting with the item, you can then press various directions on the joystick, depending on the left joystick, depending on where you are, to manipulate. And that does make this puzzle a little bit easier because then you can look at what you're trying to manipulate instead of trying to like do these motions and then like looking back. So you hold both and then you can maneuver it how you want to. Now we need to go all the way over that way, is it? Bosh, bosh. No, we need to bounce on that one. So if we angle that one there, and then we go bang, 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 and then that'll get us to the next section, I believe. Yeah. That happens quite a lot as well. You'll hit your head on something. Oh, no, not far enough. Okay, so we need to bounce off of that one onto that one, and then that one will put us up there. So we need to go across to here. Have I got climb? I haven't got climb. Oh, you bastard. Hey, whoa, 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 whoa! Stop it! Here we go. So yeah, there's elements of it where I lost the glue, I think. I'm gonna say that we're not supposed to be down here. I wanted the skull! Ah, that seems like the sort of crevice that I would be getting in if I was a real insect. But no. It's weird. It's like they've put fake walls in the wrong places and then none where there should be. Like, I'm obviously not supposed to go in here. So why I'm being... Oh, God, I don't want to go too far. I might not be able to get back out. But why am I allowed to go into this? But again, these are things that bug testers are supposed to find. Or now, because I don't think Q&A, they either have as many staff or do as much. So it's now down to us to find and report. Isn't it, right? That's our job now, right? That needs to be turned. I don't think that one can be turned. Here? Nope. Up. De-glued indeed. Is it down here? Probably. This is kind of another problem as well, is a lot of the time you're thinking like, oh, is that the route? No. I think I need to bounce off of that. Oh yeah, I need to bounce off of that to get up to there. So, I can't complain too much on these sort of things, because I've had plenty of games where I do want to go and do all of these things, and yeah, very bouncy. I want to do all of these things, and you're stopped. And it's finding that fine line of stopping you from going to places where you shouldn't be, but allowing you to go to places where you want to go and have a nose. And yeah. Like, for instance, Metal Hellsinger, when I was playing... Metal Hellsinger, when I was playing that the other day, I found that you can actually get really, really high up and onto the mountainside of the lobby tower. A lot of it's pretty jank, and you're clearly not supposed to be up there, but it was nice to be able to. I can't do that anywhere else. Right. And then, is it up there? Am I supposed to rotate this somehow? I went along... No, it's not in there. We've already decided it's not there. For those of you wondering as well, this is very much your kind of casual experience. Or at least I believe it is aimed as your casual experience. Like, for instance, there's no chance, from what I've come across, there's no combat, and there's like no chance that, you know, a spider's going to appear from that pipe and hurry you down the tunnel in some kind of panic of not being eaten by a bigger, nastier bug. And again, maybe that should be in... hello, Fee, and yeah, it is a bit, yeah. Right, hang on. I can't reach that one. I know where I need to go. I'm sure I'm supposed to hit that one. Now, let's try. I'm sure that's not going to be enough. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm in a bad Comic-Con insect costume, basically. It's a bit... yeah. It, for me, I suppose, and because it's a main, like, how often are you seeing me interact with these? It is cool and everything. I appreciate what they're trying to do, but the feel isn't there. Oh, if it takes you any amount of time to do the platforming side of things, I did. That's it. Bam. Got it. Easy. Like, this is the other thing as well. I do hope that they put a lot of comfort options in this, because things like that all of a sudden being thrown at you are going to really do people over, I think. I'm, you know, decently strengthed in the VR legs department. Hello, fellow bug.
Hey, not so close. Don't get pushy. We're too high up for that.
Okay, well, I wasn't going to push you off, but obviously I can't now.
So you're crossing the Bridge of Death too?
And yes, thank you, Ron. I did check my,
Is
I did
Merrick still calling it
change
that?
my battery.
I bet he made you answer his questions. Answer me.
3, actually. Error the other side, you see.
Right, that's the correct line.
Oh, that flows better. He probably couldn't think of 5 good questions anyway.
He asked me my favorite color.
That's a good question. Served well in the film.
Typical. You know, he asked me how much I weigh. How rude. Although, given the state of some of this bridge work, it could be important.
Why are there so many gaps in the bridge?
Tower put the engineer in prison.
Because of this bridge?
No, it was something else. So the bridge was never completed. Things have been falling apart ever since they locked him up.
So here's one of the things as well. Now, it's not like there's multiple dialogue lines in this. I think that the devs of the game want you to interact with the conversation by moving it along at your pace, but I feel like it would flow so much better if we were just having a conversation and I was just here talking at you and didn't have to press a button to do so.
How do I get across?
Well, in theory, you position the bouncy mushrooms so that the bounces chain together and get you to the end of the bridge.
In theory.
I haven't quite figured it out yet.
Because the problem with the way that the voice is being done right now is there's times, like, you know me, I'm your silver-tongued devil. I constantly interrupt people thinking that they have finished talking. Ask Vaughn. Do it to her all the time. Sometimes she's talking for ages and I don't even hear it. And because of that, and maybe that's just my deficiency, probably, but because of that, sometimes the dialogue hasn't finished and I think it has, so I press a button and miss a bit. And yeah, it just seems a bit of a... If I had choices to make, or different options with what I... Well, that is choices to make. Different options, I can see why. I get that they're
afraid of dying. It makes it hard to think.
Trying to get me to interact, but I don't feel like I'm interacting.
Now,
I just feel like I'm...
leave me be, I'm going to ponder the proper angles. And my life choices.
Pushing a button. Right. I can't even jump on his back. How are we supposed to make other insects, Oh well. Guess I'm going to have to lay some eggs in somebody else's wound later on. Like, these are the sort of insecty things that I was expecting to be doing. Oh, God. Even the sound when you die feels a little bit off. It feels like I've fallen into something and I've burnt to ash. Feels like it should be more of a buggy splat. But yeah. Right, let's go and move some things around. So yeah, sometimes I suppose it's the problem that I'm finding with the A button is sometimes you get that kind of jump, and other times you get the full-on kind of jump. Now, there is an element of that being down to my joystick work, but it's like if you're not pressing full forward, then you don't jump full, as you would rightly expect. I think we have to move this one first anyway. So it is from there to that one, which then puts you up there, and from there, I know how to cheat. That one I need to change. And as I said, because of... I get what they're trying to do as far as VR controls as a bug in a VR game, but because it becomes quite awkward and difficult, and they've given me an out, as in I don't have to use the VR controls, then you kind of do. And again, as I was saying earlier, I'm a stickler for, even if it is difficult, using the VR controls over anything else. Any flight sim game. What else? Driving games. I want to grip the steering wheel and drive, you know? And I will try and do it, but even I found on this game quite quickly that the things that they've implemented, the climbing's not too bad. It is weird. Very weird. But if you think about what you're doing, it is actually spot on. I should have made that. And that's something else that I've noticed as well. Little gaps that previously you've been able to make. In some places you can, in others you can't. And it's... I've done it again. Done it again. Right, let's do all the jumps then. There we go. Jump. Yes. It's strange because some of the platforms that you're on, you need to be up to full speed before you jump and get that full jump. Other times, if you're like half sticking, then you only get like a very high but not fast jump. And I don't know, my controller work is pretty good in these sort of games. And yeah. And, you know, normally if, I mean, again, I'm quite quick to point out, oh, I can master this. I just need more time. Or, no, this isn't working. I'm going to have to fight against it. Or, no, this isn't working. Fuck the VR controls. I'll just do normal controls. And this seems to be edging towards that. Very much so. Well, it's not edging towards it. Like, even here, so that I can... I mean, I could. From here, it's not too bad. But, like, for instance, if I want to rotate that back now, I have to look away from it and pull these. And if I look towards it, it'll go back the other way. So, it's just... So, it's easier for me to just hold the buttons, look at what I'm doing, and then use the D-stick to line it up to where I want to. Now we're going there, and then that takes me to that one. So we want it there. I wish there was a better point of reference or some kind of aim on this as well. And because there isn't, it ends up being not even a process of elimination, trial and error. I hate trial and error. I like getting it right first time, and I don't know what the aim point is on that. So all I can do is maneuver it to where I think it needs to be maneuvered to, jump on it, see what happens, and then hope that I get respawn. Oh. It doesn't look like there's too much of a gap! Let's right, jump. have to jump that. Look, it's tiny! Should be able to just scuttle over it. So, previously I've gone to here. This seems to happen a bit as well, where you get stuck down at a part where there probably isn't much chance of you being able to get back up, but you try anyway, and that happens. God. If you don't like falling in VR, this game is probably not one for you until they get some more vignettes and comfort options. There's a lot of falling involved in this one, and again, because of this puzzle in particular that I found. And the other thing as well, remember, jump. The other thing as well, remember, is this is, I think we're about quarter of the way through into the game, and I've been taking my time and making some atrocious errors. So that's too much. So now we've got to come all the way, so it saves us over here, so we've got to go all the way back round again, adjust it, try not to fall down this stupid gap. So that was too much. Scuttle, scuttle. Hold. Like, I don't even know where. That's clearly going over there, and that's wrong, so I don't know, about there? Then, I guess? I mean, I'm not asking for too much. There isn't anything for me to line that up with. And when trial and error means death and respawn, I do feel like I shouldn't be trial and erroring it, especially in the way that it's doing it. There we go. Come on now. So I should have hit that one and be sent over there. Let's pretend I did. There we go. So very natural looking. There we go. It does seem to happen as well. Again, the devs do know about that one, I think. And where you get your, like, slide on and you get stuck in the air. This one can be quite a treacherous bit as you are playing it. But I did, the other day, find another way around. I think the audio's cut out as well. I'm pretty sure there should be music here somewhere, but there's not. Now, if what I think we're supposed to do is I think I'm supposed to be fired over there and either get into the pipe or onto those wooden bits. There's also some workers down the bottom there that we can chat with as well. And I would, but I want to show you the next section. We've spent plenty of time falling to our death here. So I don't even know if this is what we're supposed to do. Like, this one's not too bad because, like, if I want to bring that back now. So to do it, I have to do this. I can't look at it whilst I'm adjusting it. I mean, I could... Hang on. I could I? No, I have to be facing. So it is easier to just get a sideways view, look, and then adjust with the control stick. But that doesn't feel like scuttling and insecty and like, you know, manipulating things like I've seen in the flat screen version of it. So anyway, mushroom time. Now, I spent a lot of time platforming and doing all these good bits and pieces. Oh, this guy we can probably get in range of. No, we can't. Platforming, jumping over all of that and being an absolute nightmare and falling to my death many times, or worse, jumping off, falling down there, it then giving me a checkpoint down there and me having to work my way back up again. The checkpoint in places on this is not great. So, for those of you who might have got stuck doing that, this little bit of saucer is fucking, or whatever it is great. Because you can just use this to completely bypass all of that. Or maybe you weren't supposed to do it like that. I don't know. But I'm going to do it this way. And then I'm going to very gingerly... Like, can you imagine me doing this with those VR controls? I'd have to do that. And, like, I don't know, if they were lower to the ground, maybe. But anyway, so that doesn't look like it's angled right, but let's hope for the best.
So here it is.
Perfect.
The splendor.
So I think I was supposed to get up there and then jump down, but if you angle it directly this way, you can get shot across. There is a character to dialogue with down there. There's another one right at the bottom as well. One talks about the bridge, the other one talks about bits and pieces. If I okay, well, it looks like we're talking about to the bridge guy then. And now...
Hi, what are you...
I'm building a better bridge.
Right.
Hi, what are you doing?
I'm building a better bridge.
Hi, what are you doing?
You had more lines than this last time.
I'm building a better bridge.
Ah. Okay. So most of these characters I've spoken to, he definitely had more dialogue lines because we're technically in my... No, we're not. I did a new game from the start.
Really? From here?
Oh, there we go.
What is it that you do?
Do?
Yes, do, as in...
Well, Joseph and I were planning... That's not important. I'm trying to get to the tower so I can become human again. Hi, what are you doing?
Okay, it might be because I'm walking out of range. I was trying to get a drink.
I'm building a better bridge.
Really? From here? Do?
Yeah.
Well, but really, I'm trying...
Yeah, whatever. My point was just that it's no fun to be criticized by a stranger.
I see your point. Can I ask you...
Nothing stopped you so far.
Right.
Are you an engineer?
Engineer? Heck no! They fired that guy for mistakes he made building the tower.
What kind of mistakes?
No idea. Not my department.
So you're not an engineer. An architect then? A builder?
Nope. I'm just an enthusiastic amateur.
Confused.
I see. Good luck with that.
No. Thank you for the sarcasm and the interruption. Jeez.
Like, so it's something that I didn't mention at the start of this as well, but this is more of an accolade of the original game. I don't think anything has been added, but there's like, I've been told there's like over 4,000 lines of dialogue within the game as well. There's a lot of characters to speak to. There's a lot of bits and pieces in that. Now, of course, you didn't want to come down here. As I understand it, this is kind of somewhere that you fall down to and you're not supposed to be. What I'd like to think is that I could throw myself off of here and respawn back at the top. Oh, hey, it has done it for me. Okay, that's not too bad. At least they've put that in there. But I've had times when that hasn't been the case. And so maybe that's on me for not advancing the game enough, but it feels like it put me back when it should have put me forward, or back to where I was after I fell off of something. And that can be quite frustrating. I'm doing lots of jumps to make sure I don't fall down. No, surely I can just go along. There we go. I do know the price of this one as well. This one's going to be $19.99 in dollary dues, so I'd imagine $14.99. And I can't tell you the full extent of the content because I haven't completed it. However, if it's based on the first game and you know what you're doing and you can find your way, and they're going to make things a little easier because they're going to put more of these little checkpoints to show you exactly where it is that you're supposed to be going. It's going, oh, no worries, K2. It's the objective is to get from A to B, basically. I mean, the objective for us is get to the tower to get transformed from a bug into a not bug. this seems to be a bit of an ongoing thing as well, where the textures have been placed right at some point, but then they've shifted. I think they're aware of those bits and bobs, but again, there is a lot of them. You can see that I've already smashed this one's thing. So if you know what you're doing, if you've played through this game before, then you could probably get it done in a couple of hours. I'm trying to slow pace it and try and show things off about the game. There is, if you don't get the secrets, kind of a reason to play through it again. And if you really enjoy the story and the dialogue, then yeah. Again, like, I don't like being negative or critical about games. I do want to concentrate as best as I can on the positives. And the positives are, it's a great sense of scale, and when it plays, there's some fantastic music. But, yeah.
Hello, my name is Gregor.
Don't come any closer. My immunity is lowered. I bet you're spreading all sorts of disease.
Some people may recognize that voice as the voice of Watto from Phantom Menace. Or at least that's who it sounds like to me, or someone trying to rip that voice up. I'm a Tartarian! A mind tricks don't work on me! Yeah. Sorry, Black Sun. They did say for me to not add my own voice and dialogue.
Well, alright. I'm Siegfried.
The Tartarian?
Glad to meet you.
Bloody cold. They're the reason I'm here.
And what is your job?
Why are you waving your mandibles about like that?
I redirect inquiring parties to the right office first.
Like, this... That feels correct. That one's alright. But other dialogue that I've had when I'm talking to characters, it's like up here. It's like it follows the center, or this guy follows the center of the screen, but
That's
others
great,
don't.
because I'm actually looking for a way to tower.
My dialogue kinda does as well.
Such way the tower leads through Joseph's spot. At least this month.
How do you know about Joseph?
His case is already on the
Bless you.
But I can't get rid of this cold because of it. Nothing.
Why don't you just turn it off?
Thought it was finished.
It's broken.
I appreciate the ability to be able to skip through dialogue if you are playing through this game for like a second or a third time or something along those lines. But I do think that there should be an element of automation within the dialogue, because otherwise it feels very... Like, again, press A to, you know, hear the next line of dialogue. That's usually when you're reading it. But these are subtitles that are added. I don't know. Maybe they thought that you might miss something if you weren't in control of the dialogue. But then the thing is, you can move away, come back, press the button, and they'll start talking again.
If you would be so
Cool. So we've got to turn that off. And I, for some reason, thought that the valve might be something to do with that, and maybe it was connected to that, and then I was like, oh no, maybe it's this cable. Let's go and chew on the end of it. This is kind of one of the things that I was talking about with the little jaggies and little bits and pieces. I'd like to think that they've got enough time to sort all of these things out for launch. Yeah. This I kind of like, where, you know, we're near rumbly objects, and so the screen's got a bit of shake. There'll be some people that can't take that in VR and won't want it, and the ability to then turn that off is a big thing. But I like anything like that in VR, where it's kind of messing with the player's perspective, or their, like, the sense of, as I keep on saying, the sense of scale in this is great. Do I have to... Oh, you're going to have to get off. So yeah, it's not chew... We don't have to chew on cables. Ah, it's rats though, isn't it? That could have been a rat. Don't have to chew on cables. Don't even have to interact with the fan.
What nonsense did my husband tell you?
Siegfried is your husband? He said he was ill.
Right. Let me guess. It's due to the same old song. It's all
Hello, boys.
I need to find a passage.
Quite.
So, Joseph's box. Last time I checked, it was under the bed.
I did
Go
have a
to the
quick
fan
watch
and you
of
should be able
Wick
to reach it.
playing Thief Simulator. How did he... He must have the DLC and the PC VR version for it. How did he get on with it?
So the fan can be turned off?
Of course it can.
Why won't Siegfried just do it then?
Because he'd have to find a new excuse for his clumsiness.
So that's how it is.
But see, like, this is what I was getting at. I thought she was finished with the one line of dialogue. She was going to go into another one, and I pressed to move the dialogue along.
They sent him down here from power for a reason. Go
You're finished.
ahead, turn off the phone.
Is it? Right, get off. Like, that's the kind of scuttling that I want to be doing. I mean, obviously I want to be, you know, moving, but yeah. There you go. Right, let's jump on buttons. Oop, fan off. Now, see, at least she's got that same problem sometimes where it sticks. Oh, yeah, sorry, I think everything's alright on my end, mate. But yeah, you might have... If you... Does that put you near Florida then, does it, Ray? I think they're having problems over there. Right, we need to scuttle our way up there. So this is the thing that I find really cool about this game is like, how the fuck am I going to get up there? I could do some platforming, I could jump, or, oh look, goo. Again, is it just me, or do I feel like they've missed a trick where I could... won't even let me demonstrate, where I scoop up a little bit of that into my hand with the grip button, or into my mandible with the grip button, and then like rub it up and down my leg, and if I don't do it right and I don't get coated, then I won't stick correctly, and then I have to do it on the other hand. Instead, all I have to do is walk into it, and then I'm sticky. And I don't know. This is why, like, I get these little flashes of, oh, wouldn't it be cool in VR if... And I assume that everybody else who plays VR gets... Everybody else who plays VR kind of has that as well. Oh, because, you know, nobody ever celebrates a good mechanic in VR, but they always, you know, complain about a bad one. That it's easy to complain about a bad one. It's one of the things that I've always thought about VR is it's all the little things that get done to make a VR experience feel complete that just go over most people's heads. Like the little things where you know you can pick everything up and fondle around with it and stuff. Oh, maybe I'm not supposed to go up here. Why can't I even? Oh, there we go. I feel like that problem right. Oh, right, not that way then. I just got up the wall. Oh, it's gonna take ages. That's really high. Duck and cover, Ray, if it gets any closer. wouldn't want you missing any of my streams. Like, I wish, as I was doing this, as I've said, I wish it adjusted the perspective, because that would save me having to look up. And if it adjusted the perspective as I was crawling, oh fuck, I'd feel like I'm scuttling. Whereas, oh, you bastard thing. Thought I was on then. Whereas right now, I don't know. The problem is, maybe they did that and too many people complained about it, but I don't know. It just, for me, it would feel more bug-like if, as I was clambering around, it locked. It locked, right? I wish it, like, locked my perspective for how I am. I'd love to scuttle along. Scuttling along that upside down would be great. Instead, if I want to do it, I have to do this. And I wish my perspective was... I mean, I'm not going to try... I'd have to put my head between my legs, and I'm not doing that. So the problem with the climbing as well is you have to make quite large swinging motions to make sure that your hands stick. And I'm no slouch when it comes to VR, but if you end up doing a lot of climbing in this, and you could end up doing so, I don't know, it feels a lot more effort than it should be. It really does. There. Yeah. No, 2 days later, Silver was found dead in his apartment with his head up his arse. But yeah. What was the cause of death? Too much pleasure. Even on the right side. Looks like I am. There's a pipe. So yeah, I did... It's the other thing as well is I appreciate what they're doing on the scale side of things. And normally at these sort of distances, I would expect it to be kind of like blurred at the sort of 50 meters and then at least a little bit of texture. And everything's just quite globby and non-textured. Now, again, it's Quest, isn't it? It's a mobile phone strapped to our heads. We can't expect too much. But, I mean, this game's already been made and then they've ported it. So, and the graphics I watched on the flat version... Well, it's 4 years old, but the graphics that I watched on the flat version were actually quite good. Maybe, I don't know, that fisheye lens effect that I was saying about. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. See, the problem is I can't say too much because I'm not a game developer, but it's one of those things that annoys me with VR a lot is it's like the standards have been set and people are supposed to get better at these things. Now, one of the things that I am supposed to comment on is that this is Black Sun's first VR, or Black Sun Productions' first VR title, which is all well and good. But, you know, for me, it's like, well, yeah, then if this is going to be my first game, I want to Pazam some with the things, and this, I am not climbing over the top of that. Right, I hope this is going to be fixed. But this, if you were, there's quite a lot of pop in there as well, and then that's disappearing, and there it is. It's back. Yeah. I don't know if anybody can see. I'm trying to be positive, I really am. But that guy, there's two guys trapped inside of each other T-posing. I mean, it gives us something to have a look at, I guess, isn't it? Maybe it's part of the story. I don't know. I am in a Discord with a lot of other people, and there is no real thing for reporting bugs. Or not the way that we're used to, where there's a section for bug reports. So I get the impression they're not after bug reports, they're just kind of like after little bits and pieces. I did take a picture of this the first time round. I'm hoping that that's something that's gonna get fixed. Well, the thing is, this is early access, kind of, but I get the impression that if people like me hadn't said too much, then this probably would have been the release version. And I say that because some people have... there you go. Don't see T-poses in games very often. Some people in the forums have said things, and they are making some minute changes, but a lot of it is with easy fixes, like they're giving some of the insecty locomotion-y stuff another pass. Yeah, something weird about that, but again, these are passing effects that you're not really supposed to be paying too much attention to. So, but still, it's quite all over the place, and it moves when I turn my head, which is a bit strange. But again, these are the sort of things where it's like, if the rest of the game looked even better and that was in there, I wouldn't mind. The smoke effects are actually, for quests, some of the better ones that I've seen. It's just they're like 2D, and when you turn your head, they move. Now, if that was happening, but everything else was better because of it, then fair enough. But so this is part of the problem that I have with this, and why I still decided to stream this, because I could have quite easily, I mean, you know me, I don't like to be negative about anything in VR, because I do still think that we are kind of in that precious phase where, you know, if we have standards and we, you know, criticize where criticism is necessary, that, you know, devs might just turn around and go, actually, you know what then, fuck you guys, we're not going to do VR games anymore, and VR will die as a medium. Now, I don't think that's the case for a minute, but there's times when I do worry. So, yeah, let's see if we can get them out of that T-pose. I think I'm supposed to push the apple.
Joseph, it's me, Gregor. It's all futile.
Like, little things like that. It was a little bit juddery, but little things like that where I'm being moved around. I'm being... I'm being moved around. I'm being moved around, but not under my own power. As an insect, I would expect things like that, and that maybe I have to like quickly scuttle underneath the book so that the person that's picking me up doesn't go, oh fucking hell, and splat me. Now again, I know that these are not the original things that are done within the original game, and that this is just a port, but I don't know, if you're going to port a game from 5 years ago and you're going to go... It then makes me question how much effort they put into this, and is this a product of what the negative side of things like injector mods and UEVRs? I forgot to check before I did it, but I assume that this is made in Unreal 4 or Unreal 5. Well, probably Unreal 4, or maybe even Unreal 3. I don't know if somebody can check that or not and see if this is something that someone could inject a mod and then kind of work off of. I get the impression they have done work here. But yeah, I don't know. Right. Thankfully, and again, early access, these things happen. I'm sure it'll be fixed for tomorrow. If we restart, which is only a minute ago, that should clear things up, I've found. Although I do like a good T-pose. So yeah, that was, you're quite right. Oh, well spotted. Well spotted. That was. two people.
Joseph, it's me, Gregor.
There we go.
Well, at least they opened the box.
Oh no, all three of them.
Should be enough.
Well, at least they opened the box.
What? For identification. These are my documents. Now show me yours. And the arrest warrant.
Dear God in heaven, why can't you simply understand your position and...
Like, this dialogue, like with the insects, this just goes on. I don't have to interact with it, and that makes sense, because it's a conversation that's going on that I'm not part of, but I feel like the other conversations should do that as well. Once you've started them up, you should have the ability to skip, but they continue on themselves, but you have to prompt, and then that would say to me, hang on, better pause, oh no, I can't even, can I not pause it? Oh, I can, but they've stopped talking anyway. That would... Uh-oh. Hang on. That would then say to me that the devs are worried that the player might be getting bored during their interactions, the conversation, that you have, you know, oh, keep player interaction high by pressing a button. I don't know. For me, with things like dialogue, when you do that, it then means that you lose out. I think I'm supposed to be going in that box. With things like that, with dialogue, ooh, my books got wet. Dry. Billionaire immediately. Dostoevsky and have it bound. Saw bugs on Joyce's book. Tell Grubenbach urgently. The little things like that, I can actually, well, I can just about read that. It's a bit blurry at that distance. But again, looking around at this sense of scale, I haven't seen anything like that in VR, and that's to be commended. But, yeah, I think it's that. But then we have little things like this where, and again, I have been told that these things are known about and they're going to sort them out, but I don't know. It's a port, isn't it? And I think I'm supposed to go in here. That's the symbol of the tower. That was definitely not on the pipe. I like all the cigarettes that are around there. That's good. And yeah, Starship Troopers is probably going to be a dumpster fire because it is done by the same people that did Hitman VR. I have approached XR Games for a key to try and get hold of that early, so I can either confirm or deny that it is a dumpster fire. This happens quite a lot as well, but it does... There you go, usually sort yourself out. Do insects have axles? I think they have brakes and clutches, but if your insect axle that would normally be... Oh, here. There you go. I didn't realise we could look at it. It sometimes spawns in here, but that usually sorts itself out. Yeah, Starship Troopers. I'm trying to get hold of a copy because I'd love that game to be good. I want Starship Troopers. We do kind of already have it in regards of K2's favourite game. Not Ghost Signal. No, not that one. Guardians Frontline. And I'd like to think Starship Troopers is going to be good. Even if it has that cartoon ethic, as long as it's got a lot of bugs and good game mechanics and good shooting mechanics, happy days. It doesn't look like it, though. And again, games like that where the devs aren't generous with their keys, and they don't give out review copies, and they don't do like gameplay. Like, you know, I'm all for devs not giving up keys if they want to show their game off a particular way. And I'm all for devs giving keys for games that are done well. But when they are not showing much in the ways of... Stop it!
So
when they're
close,
not...
I can almost taste it. No, that's a weird smell. What is that?
I'll wait for him to finish speaking. I'm trying not to speak over the dialogue. Some of the dialogue in it is quite cool as well, so. But when they don't do either, they don't put out decent amounts of gameplay for us to feast on, and they don't give copies out to people to play to show off the gameplay, for me, that's another one of those alarm bells that gets set off. Because, and like, you know, Alien Isolation. Alien Isolation is the big one that concerns me at the moment. Because that could be amazing and everything that I wanted. And at the moment, I'm again, I try not to hype things up, and I'm very pessimistic with all of these bits and pieces. I really, really, really want Alien... not Isolation. Alien Rogue Incursion. I really, really, really want it to be really, really, really good. And I don't want it to be messed up, and I don't want it to just end up another film license game that's fucking dumpster fire worthy and just gets thrown to one side and never worked on again or ever looked at. And no gameplay, no footage. It's out in December, I think, or maybe November. It's not far off. We've seen nothing. We've seen what they're saying is gameplay, but it all looks... I mean, I don't know. It doesn't look like gameplay to me. So, looks like scripted. Looks like... I mean, some of it might be, but I don't know. Very difficult. Very small clips of like 5-10 seconds of certain things. It is November, isn't it? And yeah, the people doing Starship Troopers are the same ones who've done Hitman. Oh, fuck me. Why are they giving them the license? I think it was, I can't remember who it was who said it, but maybe they've just been given too many licenses too quickly. And they've laid off a load of staff as well. So even if it is bad, there's no hope of it being fucking sorted. God, your mandibles are proper going for it. You a Tortarian as well?
Like a bear?
Oop, it's alright.
It couldn't have been real.
Okay, I'm lost.
Where's my dialogue gone?
Colors red, blue, and green are real. The color...
How are you doing? All right?
December. Yeah, I thought it was December.
A man breaking his journey between one place and another. At a third place of no name, character, population, or significance. Sees a unicorn cross his path and disappear. That in itself is startling. But there are precedents for mystical encounters of various kinds.
Excuse me.
What?
I'm Gregor.
What is that?
What do you mean? That's me.
And who are we?
You're supposed to tell me.
My name is Guildenstern, and this is Rosencrantz.
His name's not Silver. He's called Guildenstein, unless that's silver in German. And the other one's a Rosenstein. I'd imagine that's golden rose gold? I don't know. Oh, you're done. Okay. Hello. Is it just me? I expect everybody to speak in that fly voice sort of thing, because we're all bugs, aren't we? I don't know, maybe I've watched Fly and Fly 2 too much. I don't know.
Hi.
You found us!
Oh, yes.
Were you looking for us?
Thanks, K2. Now I get what you're talking about.
Not exactly.
But the law of probability has been up. It's something to do with a proposition that if 6 monkeys were...
Or it was fate that I found you. It could hardly be one without the other.
I still feel like these should be touching the floor. His are.
Point. Whoever you are.
I'm Gregor.
Wait. No. No, that's not right.
For pity's sake, can you tell me how to get to tower?
The reverse anthill when...
We could be anywhere. We might. Well, in fact, maybe
I didn't press that.
death is the ultimate.
Again, this being sorted out is supposed to be something, but it is because there's no indication that he's finished speaking either, so I haven't got a prompt. Sometimes it does come up, other times it doesn't. So then you think you're skipping to your bit of dialogue, but you're actually skipping his, and it's...
Discussion is a proof of being. Therefore, we are
See, it's got it there.
Good grief, I'm leaving.
There you go. Oh, don't start, boys. Don't start. I'd love it. I was thinking about it the other day, having played this. I was like, imagine what you could do with an Alien game. Roguelike, obviously. You know, going out into random colonies, attacking the civilians, building up your army surplus, eventually starting off as a facehugger, eventually becoming a queen, going from facehugger to alien to then queen, and those different, it goes from then stealth to combat to management, all the clambering that you could do as well, and then having that kind of alert level that works really well in Alien Dark Descent, but it's the other way around. The more the humans see you, the more alert they get, and obviously, you know, to begin with, they're coming at you with pistols and seismic charges, and then later on, you know, they obviously call in the Marines. Be great. Hello, Bucky. Does this actually kill me then? No, it doesn't. But, and then, yeah, Predator as well. Predator could work. With what you guys were talking about as well, as far as Batman's concerned, it's the eggs, look. Facehugger eggs. But, with what you guys were talking about with Batman, Batman looks good. Batman looks like it could be a workout. What I like is that you get slammed into the enemies, and then... Oops. And then get told what to do, and it's a like punch match game, and yeah, that, I don't know, it brings me back to Until You Fall, and as long as there's enough variety and some nuances and some ducking and dodging, and maybe the ability to go into a bit of a free form with it as well, because it doesn't want to be too controlled. I'd imagine it'll be like Until You Fall, where you can swing your fists and then various bits come up at various sections. But there's another game as well, and that one's not far off, and we've seen a lot of gameplay of that one, and a lot of people playing it. Maybe it's out there, and maybe, you know, everyone's under NDA and they're not allowed to show off the gameplay, but with a game as big as Aliens, I think someone would have shown it off by now. Anyway, so hello, Bucky, and yeah, the sense of scale is great. The one thing that I will say is this is not my kind of game, but I want to play it anyway. And it's because it's very, very story-based, very heavy story, and, well, you guys know me, I like a good gameplay loop that I can then experience continually. With this sort of game, I can tell you instantly it's going to kind of be a bit of a one and done. At $19.99 dues, and you can probably have this finished front to back in about 4 hours. I don't think there'd be much in the way of replay value, and like little things like that, and this, and I feel like they can do better on the Quest. And then people look at this game and then they'll be like, fucking Quest fucked us again in VR. And it's, don't know. Tribes. Do you remember something like that? If you're in... Oh, yeah, no, I do remember that one. But I always wanted to be the commander, and I didn't like the idea of being the units in that, if I remember rightly. The one thing that I will say about this one is, if you like your story and you're into the... Kim will remind me what the name is. I'm not familiar with the books. I'm not a bookworm, but... Well, I am, but for Warhammer and Warhammer 40k, I'm a very lowbrow bookworm. I suppose you probably wouldn't even call me a bookworm at that point. But if you're familiar with the works, this does lend from some of the aspects from... I'm trying to think of the name now. Of the novelist that kind of created this world. And when Kim or Von or someone reminds us of who that is, because it's gone completely out of my mind whilst I'm explaining this. What I did look into, because I haven't read any of his books or any of his literature, I didn't have to study any of that stuff at school or anything along those lines. But the one thing that I did read is that the game only ever... Kafka, that's it. Like, I'm a Philip K. Dick guy. And yeah, I'm a Philip K. Dick guy, and I like those sort of like short stories that are can be very ambiguous and can go all sorts of different ways and leave a lot to the imagination of the reader. And as far as, I don't know if that's how Kafka does his bits and pieces, but the one thing that I do remember reading about this game from the flat screen version is a lot of people are basically like, look, I've read the books, and they're kind of skimming the subject matter in you're an insect, a man turned into an insect in an insectoid world, but missing the messages and the various bits and pieces. Apparently it's supposed to be a lot about isolation and identity and stuff like that.
And they have all one buzz. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do.
That's one of those cool needles.
Let us go down and there around their proboscis and mandibles.
This is my natural way of holding my hands when I'm listening to things, and it doesn't help the view, does it? I've got my hands crossed in front of me at my waist. Doesn't help. Like, this dialogue is just carrying on, and I don't need to do anything.
A mosquito confined inside a light bulb. And the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 aphids, and she, being with eggs, cried out.
It's almost like, do you know what it reminds me of, if that's the case? Because I can't speak for it too much. I'm sure that guy's gonna ramble on, but then like, look at little things like he's not.
Appeared another wonder on the ceiling.
He's not even on the ground. Again, they do have to do a pass with this. There is going to be an update, but from what I've seen of the update that they're working on, a lot of it is based around audio comfort, and they're having a little bit of a rework of
you? Hey, hello.
The VR
Joseph,
controls.
it's me, Gregor. Only I'm a bug now. Help me. Seems it's every species for themselves.
Right.
No time to lose. Let's go to tower.
But yeah, a lot of the... Oh god. I have been this far before, but I scuttled past that very quickly before anything broke the bridge. I don't know, it feels like, and this again, this isn't, oh, it was gonna, this isn't a criticism of this game in in particular, i.e. the VR version, but obviously it's based on something. There's a lot of pop in here as well. It's obviously based on something that was flat screen, and that was based on the books loosely. And it feels like it suffered from the same problems as things like RoboCop and Aliens did, where, like, Aliens was kind of about the terror in the dark that you couldn't see, but there was also that element of it's about, like, the whole Weyland-Yutani and people fucking each other over, because that is the big storyline behind all of the Alien stuff, is Weyland-Yutani are dicks and they'll do anything for money. And again, that might be missed by a lot of people, at least that's what I think the story is. RoboCop was just the guy in RoboCop. For me, RoboCop was all about that underlying satire of the corporations and those stupid adverts and how things are going that way. And Starship Troopers is another one as well, where, you know, get in there with the machine guns and kill the bugs, but it's all about that citizenship and yeah, all that satire. But, and I don't know, maybe this one's got that, you know, oh yeah, bugs, guy get reduced to bug size, yeah, cool, and hasn't really concentrated on a lot else. So, don't know. Right? I don't feel like I can make as good a case, though, when I look like a poor man's Comic-Con insect. So, it's one of the things that I was expecting, because they're in your face all the time. If you look like... I usually find that devs are either to get really good graphics on what your hands look like, on what you're holding, and then maybe the background suffers a little bit, or the foreground suffers a little bit, or your hands are poor but the game looks good. Like Dungeons of Eternity kind of suffers from that. It's not that the arms look poor, it's just that, you know, we all have to wear those rags even though we've got cool ass armor and it doesn't change the texture. Those rags are pretty well done as it happens, and the swords and weapons in that game are beautiful. But here it just looks very, I mean, there's a little bit of pattern on it and a little bit of shine, but it just looks like, it doesn't look insecty. It looks like, I look like a insect version of Morph. I don't know how well it shows up. The articulation on it is quite cool, and you can see that there's things underneath there. Those shiny bits of my whatever these are. So anyway, right. But yeah, I don't feel like, I mean, it's going to be a strange sign-off, but I'll try. Wrong button.
Please don't tell anyone I'm here.
Damn it! Very easy to... Again, as I said, they're working on the audio. Sorry. He's basically run away and he's hiding, and you can't repeat that line of dialogue because I skipped past it whilst I was trying to do it. I suppose, as I said as well, I saw this game, I wanted to have a look at this game. I appreciate the sense of scale and the style of it. It's again another one of those games that maybe I shouldn't have live streamed, because the fact is this isn't my kind of game. There aren't real gameplay or mechanics here other than a little bit, well, there is a bit of platforming, but it's I wouldn't rate this as a game. I would rate this as an experience, and I do try and avoid those like the plague. I was hoping there would be a little bit more here, having watched gameplay from the game after the fact. So, but then the other thing as well is, and again, I don't mind telling you guys this, there was a little bit of an opportunity here for me, in that if people bought this game, and again, I don't need to tell you this, I think I'm allowed to, and I won't go into the details of it, but if people bought this game with my code, then I would get a little bit of a kickback out of it. And I kind of didn't want to say anything about that, but we'll see what happens in the future with that. I'd like to think that other people are going to kind of mirror my opinions on that, but... you know, commission and cash is a weird and wonderful thing. So this is about as far as I got previously. That's not to say, the one thing that I will clarify that though is we're not being told you need to give a good opinion of this game. But I mean, you know, more copies sold equals more money for creator, you know. Anyway, the long and short of it is, as far as I'm concerned, I suppose my stamp on this is I will not be putting my creator code up, and I won't be putting this anywhere, because at $19.99 I don't think it's worth it. I don't. I think it needs a lot of work, and I am questioning whether this was a good pick for VR, because somebody had to. I appreciate the sense of scale, and I appreciate the art of it and the voice lines and bits and pieces, but I don't know, man. I don't know. This one feels like it should go back into the oven for
who are you?
A while.
My name is Gregor Samsa.
But you'll be happy to know it's out tomorrow. Oh, something that is being added though, at least. Smooth turn, straight off the bat. Snap turn is being added, and as I said, locomotion options are on the way. The only problem that I have as well is not only does it not look like it, but I don't think lengthwise it is worth it either. And part of me is like, again, I don't want to be negative about anything in VR, because I'd love more of this where, you know, wouldn't The Borrowers be an amazing VR game? Going around fucking nicking shit when you're tiny and building stuff. And I know they tried to do something like that with the game that Von mentioned, but apparently the combat was absolutely rubbish in it, and yeah, that one wasn't up to much either. And I don't know, part of me worries that games that come out like this and get under the radar, it'll just carry on. And then another part where it's like, you know, if you call them out, well then, you know, maybe Black Sun will be like, oh well, maybe fuck VR, we'll just stick with flat screen games. And I don't want that option. So, but yeah.
Woke up, transformed into
this.
Are you the Inspector Bug?
No, I'm human.
Small Lands, that's the one.
No, I'm a salesman.
I am. He's not wrong. Obviously not a very good one when it comes to this game.
I don't have them. As I said, I was just
So you have no...
No, sir.
How do you expect anyone to believe you? Go see Karen. He will sort it out.
Karen's a man? Oh no. The worst kind of Karen. Okay, cheers now. Bye-bye then. Hey, look, you've got the little like little things like that where they've got, you know, the needle as weaponry and the little paper hat on his head. And these models actually look quite good and quite intimidating. That bug's pretty hench, but even then there's some like clipping elements as well, which, you know, if you just stretch the model out a little bit, like, anyway. Oh look, there's another one of those objective things. Those do seem to be few and far between, and I know the devs commented on adding more to the game, and part of me was like, nah, fuck off, we're VR players, we can find our way around, leave us to it. And then watching the flat screen version, they've got the ability to press a button and zoom out into God mode and like see all of this. So, I don't know. But then, like, yeah, but this is why, you know, I kind of got an idea of what I was stepping into when I played it, and I did get the impression there wouldn't be any combat and it'd be very dialogue heavy and it'd be about exploration. I wasn't expecting as much platforming, and the platforming to be pretty frustrating, but it's not that you can't do it. And as you can see, it's not that I'm a slouch at it and have any problems with it. It's just there are some precise movements that I don't know, they just become very difficult. And as I've said previously, I don't think platforming is good in VR. There are games like Into the Radius 2 now where we can jump. That A Bug's Life a walk-in sim. Yeah, basically. Like Into the Radius 2, we can now jump. I don't think that's a particularly good thing, because platforming in that game is nightmare fuel at best. So, again, music-wise and atmosphere-wise, it is trying to be created. I think you have to have a certain amount of graphics to get away with that, though. So, but I don't know. Again, these are just one man's thoughts. I do want to hear what others think about this, and having read some of the bits and pieces that are going on in various forums, shall I say, I think everyone likes it. Let's go and talk to this massive bug. I reckon you can crush me.
Finally, a passenger.
No? Okay. Oh, you're talking. Okay. That's weird. Some of the bugs as well, when you get close to them, they automatically initiate dialogue. Other ones you have to get and press. It's usually the ones that automatically do it carry on, but yeah, this one isn't. I ain't even spoke to them yet. I was told to come speak to you. You must be Karen.
No.
Fine. Show me your certificate and we'll be on our way.
Maybe.
I'm afraid I don't have it.
What time are we on? Because probably should see about wrapping it up soon. One of the things that I've been told not to do, as far as the brief is concerned, is to not play any further than the lawyer. And this is about where I got to previously, where I think I'm going to have to do a bunch of fetch quests to get my certificate to go up to the tower, which I then believe is where the lawyer is, and then it's kind of game end. I don't know how much longer there is, maybe a couple of hours if I don't rush it, potentially. Oh, yeah! That's a good point, boys. Where are my thumbs? Can't even, like, I don't know. As an insect, it feels weird that I can't clench my insectoid hands. Maybe I should have an extra one. But yeah. Oh, cheer me up, would you? Nope, that's not the talk button. Right? Well, maybe this is why. Maybe I'm not a fully developed human insect. Maybe that's the thing. So, I think this next area is probably just as good a place to end it. We'll have a quick look around so you've got an idea. Because again, sense of scale and the character of it is all very cool. Provenost. Provenost, why do I know that? I know that from something.
All right, now I only need the certificate. Crawl in the park. Shouldn't take much time.
Crawl in the park, right? He's having a great time up there. Lots and lots of popping far and close as well. Now, one of the things that I will say is, performance-wise, for what it is doing, it has handled pretty well. The battery has held up quite nicely as well, I think, for the session that we've had. Do remember that I am streaming to MetaQuest Developer Hub at the same time as doing all of this as well. That doesn't excuse the audio. That is something that's known about and is going to be sorted, and I'm talking about the audio just cutting off in various bits and pieces. But yeah, the praise. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, let's go find somewhere to do an outro. I'll try not to butcher it. Like my kind, I suppose one of the problems. Ooh, got another tumbler there. Oh, I wonder what that does. Actually, let's go and have a quick look. It doesn't matter with this one. Oh, is this one just for play? Is it? Is anything moving? Can't even tell. Possibly. Who knows? Who knows? Part of the problem I think I have with this style of games is I have kind of played these kind of games before, and it's not really what I'm in the market for. So maybe I'm being overly harsh, maybe I'm being overly critical, but I would say that in a game which is a little bit of a platformer, but mainly a story walking simulator game, I don't know, I expected a little bit more. And I know we're on a mobile headset. I was saying that we're running this on MetaQuest Developer Hub, so there is additional strain on the headset, which might mean that the graphics might not be quite as good as later on. This one is out tomorrow. I do know there are some bug fixes with things like the audio, with comfort settings, and with a couple of other bits and pieces as well to do with the locomotion and tidying that up, and I think they're planning on making the tutorial a little bit better. Another warning that I will give you on this one as well is if you were to stop playing the game and go to the chapter select and then maybe go back to the start because you wanted to play the first chapter again and go from man to bug, as soon as you hit it, but that automatically saves your progress from that point on, and then you can't then go back to where you were. There's not like multiple profiles, and you're probably right in that respect. But these are not games that I'm a fan of. I want a game that especially if I'm spending $20, I want a game that has good mechanics that I can play and I can play to death. If you are looking for a casual, the platforming doesn't feel like casual at the moment, but if you are looking for a casual bit of a walk-in sim and you're into the books or into this style of game, then as is said, you could do a lot worse, but you could also do a lot better. On that bombshell, I will indeed end it there. This has been, for me, the disappointing Metamorphosis, running natively on the Quest 3. I have been a silver-tongued insect, I guess. Good night.